July 2023, after almost 3.5 years on Amazon, was my best month ever in terms of sales and overall profit. And I took time to reflect, like, what really changed for me? Because for a long time, I was consistently hitting 50, 60K a month. And I knew there was more out there, and I knew what I was capable of, and I knew the work I was putting in. And a few things finally clicked for me, and I turned that corner, right? And so I have 6 things that I'm going to share with you today on what I think helped take me from good to really good in terms of going from 60K a month, let's say, to over 90K a month. And I'm on pace to do that again this month. And it's now I'm in August, right? And by the way, this is in no particular order. And there's a lot more healthy habits and things that I do that contribute to the overall success. But what I'm really saying is really what leveled me up. Okay. So, again, no particular order. First thing, I source daily. I think maybe a year ago, 6 months ago, even, there was times where, okay, I didn't know when I was going to source, just when I could fit it into my schedule. But now that's completely shifted. I said, this is my most high value business task of the day. Also, I happen to be a morning person, right? So my thing is this: let's get up early, knock out a workout, and then every single day protect that couple hour block at all costs. Sometimes it's 2 hours, sometimes it's three. Some days I'm on a roll, and our calendars allow me to do that, right? But whatever it is, I am protecting those mornings, because if nothing else gets done that day, that is the most important business task of the day when it comes to Amazon. And that has been a game changer. Okay, it really has. And so having a daily sourcing practice and doing it at my peak hours, because again, I'm a morning person, not saying you should be, has really been a game changer. It's not when can I source, it's this is when I'm sourcing. All right. Next up is finding a sourcing partner. Now, sometimes this is easier said than done. You know, people say, put yourself on social media, connect. I did that. But, for me, I'm really big into like having to have good intuition about someone, have to jive with them, have to trust them. So after a lot of back and forth, I don't even remember how we started conversing. Eventually, I was like, I really trust this person. I really respect them. And I pretty much said, hey, listen, you do really well. They sold more than me, by the way. We've been doing it for about the same amount of time. You do really well. I do pretty good. If you share with me what you're doing and I share with you what I'm doing and sourcing, amongst other things, we can both win, assuming, again, we trust each other. And that's been the case. We don't necessarily have identical sourcing times. It's not tick for tack, right? It doesn't have to be. But we run Keepa charts by each other. We ask each other general questions. It's motivating. And it's kind of like that buddy system. I'm not going to have him provide me with 10 leads today and me do nothing. So just having someone in your corner, lifting you, making it kind of more of a team sport, that's a game changer. Again, I know it's sometimes easier said than done, but I would say, for me at least, what worked, start with finding people that you like the content they're putting out, how they carry themselves, that have a trustworthiness, that are maybe at a similar level than you, and test it out. You got nothing to lose and everything to gain, really. The way I see it, I basically have the world's best 10 VAs in my back pocket, and vice versa, right? I think we're both winning from it. Next up, number 3, a leads list. This is something that previously I used to kind of be suspicious of leads lists. I actually had a reel where I kind of was like, I don't see the value in them, because my thought process was, here are these items. They're being shared with 10, 20, 30 people. How is it going to remain profitable if it's a good lead? So I will say, for one, the leads list that I'm a part of is excellent. Okay, so that in itself, if I just use the leads list at face value, meaning the literal items they give us, if I just source those and put in the time to read the Keepa charts, I'd make money. But to me, what really has made it successful is that I take a good leads list to start, and then I take a really good work ethic and try to maximize every single lead out of here. Okay. So this is going to open me up to new brands I've never sold, new sites I've never sold, right? And maybe this one item is a variation. So everyone's eyes are on brown. Well, I'm going to look for the blue and the orange and supplemental listings. And by the way, a lot of listings, it's very rare that only one item makes sense if a sale is going on, right? Or if it's a certain brand or whatever the case may be. So for me, I'm looking for all those one-offs. I'm saving these brands and sites to do research on my own, keep a product finder, out of stock, no sales rank. It's just exposing me to so much more that's out there. And they're already pre-vetted for like IP complaints and things like that because they're coming from a vetted leads list, right? So I took a good list and I've really squeezed it for all it's worth, and that is what's proven to be successful. And whatever leads list you use, if it's worth its weight at all, you'll make money on the list itself, but it's really what you do with it now in the future, the one-offs, the variations, that's the key to it. It really is. And your data tracking. All right. Next up, number 4, let's talk about prep. I'm someone that used to do retail arbitrage, so I did all prep. Then I got tired and I switched to OA and I did all outsourcing. And now I've kind of landed somewhere in between. And the reason I think this is such a big deal is because I've come to learn with online arbitrage, time is very important. So the quicker I can get something into Amazon for a lot of listings, and I like things like out of stock listing, time is of the essence. And my prep center is not going to get it out as fast as me. And that's not a knock on them. It's just how it is. They have a ton of clients and I can receive something that could literally list it FBM as soon as I get it, right? So for things that are time sensitive or things that are lower cost items, I don't want to pay $150 for a 1-pack, $3 for a 2-pack. You know, when a 2-pack, if I pack it, I make $5. If I do it through them, I make $3. It could just completely kill the deal. So it's just opened my eyes that for me personally, I like to be somewhere in between. And I'll make another video on how I break up my prep and why. But just know that I am more hands-on now than I used to be. And that's proven to be successful for me because I can get things out, and a lot of the low-cost items and the bundles that wouldn't make sense sending to a prep center make sense if I do them. And so I do them. And that's kind of helped. So I don't know that I'll do that forever, but for now, it makes a lot of sense. Next up is consistency. Now, it kind of goes into the daily sourcing, but that's more of a relatively new thing. What I really mean is that I've been chipping away at this for almost 3.5 years now. I show up repeatedly, even when there's days I don't know where I'm going to find, or used to feel that way. Where am I going to find this profitable items? I just trusted showing up day in and day out. I got enough positive feedback here and there and enough wins to say it's out there. I'm going to continue to level up and it's going to get better. And I'm finally hitting that point. And every day I feel like I'm just scratching the surface. And I mean that. There is so much out there. And if anyone's listening and they're not there yet, I get it. It could be disheartening. You don't know where to look. How are people finding all these things? If you put in the reps, it's going to happen. And I always say, if you take action and you're consistent over a long enough period of time, who's ever lost by doing that, right? It's almost impossible. So just keep chipping away, keep showing up. You don't have to put in 10 hours a day, but it works. You can absolutely make money doing Amazon, but it doesn't happen overnight. And then the last thing I want to touch upon is limiting beliefs, which are kind of like a very trendy word right now, or term in the entrepreneurial world, but I think it's really applicable here. I want to share with you guys, I made a video recently about ROI beliefs, but I was just gung-ho on 30% ROI is good enough for me. And actually, my sourcing partner really opened my eyes because I would send stuff and they'd be like, no, that doesn't fit my criteria. And the more I do this and the more I realize how much is out there, I realize I don't have to settle as much. And so now my new baseline is 40% ROI. And there's always exceptions to the rules. But that was a major turning point for me that I just heard 30% ROI. That's what happens with online arbitrage. But I know I can do better than that. And it doesn't take me that much more time. And it provides me a lot more added cushion and it stretches my dollar out further than going for the 30 stuff. There's a time and place for the low-hanging fruits. I'm not in that pocket right now. So the 40% has been a game changer. And just to throw out random numbers, I'm spending 40, 50K a month on inventory. Let's just use 50K as a round number. 30% ROI, 15 grand profit. 40% ROI is 20 grand profit if they were to continue at that, ROI throughout the whole time and sell for that price. That doesn't always happen. That's 5 grand different, right? That's a 33% jump just off of 10% ROI, which is not that much. And again, I don't think it takes me that much longer to find 40% versus 30%. It's just having the discipline to consistently show up and know that it's out there, right? And so those are the 6 things for me, at least, that I think really, really helped me turn the corner from 50, 60K a month to 93 last month. I'm on pace for right around there again. And I'm really got my eyes set on Q4 and where this can go. I think I can do, gosh, close to 200 in November and December. I'm certainly going to push for it, but without sacrificing my margins too. That's huge. So anyway, for anybody that is earlier on in the journey, stick with it. Get out there, find a buddy, um, and just consistently do it. Know what works for you, but I can't emphasize enough. You keep showing up, keep doing the right things. You will find success. Everyone's on different paths, different timelines, different amount of capital. Don't worry about the comparison thing. Do your thing, but just know it's out there. It's absolutely out there. Keep showing up, keep chipping away. All right. I'm Jonathan. Duke does Amazon. I do have links below for coupons, discounts, things of that nature. We're on Instagram. Some of this I convert to audio on Spotify. Have a great day. I will talk to you guys soon. Take care.